Scene 1. The lights slowly fade up on stage to a schoolroom setting. Several desks and chairs are on stage, filled with young students aged 11 to 13, along with a blackboard at the front, where a man holding a large textbook and a piece of chalk, presumably a teacher, is standing. He is in the middle of teaching a lesson, and the kids present seem as if they'd rather be elsewhere.
Now then, if we were to take the sum of those three numbers from our previous questions and divide it by 4, then multiply it by 7, what would our answer be? Oh, come now, none of you know the answer? Come now, children, I know that your Christmas break is coming in a day or so, but that doesn't mean you should all shut your minds off until after the new year. All right, I shall put you all out of your misery. The answer, of course, is 721. Now then, let's move on to another question.
724, sir.
Huh? What was that? Speak up.
Professor Duvall, your math was slightly off. If you divide the previous number by 4, then multiply it by 7, you actually get 724, not 721. It's okay, though. It was an honest mistake.
Sherlock Holmes. Why am I not surprised you'd be the one to catch a mistake like that? As well as be the one who'd correct me.
Well, my apologies, sir. But I'm sure you want to teach the class the correct answer, right? I mean, at least I hope you would.
Quiet. Master Holmes, you are a student here. I am the teacher. What makes you so sure you're actually correct?
Professor, I think Sherlock is right because, well, he's shown himself to be really good at math. I mean, that in the nicest way, of course, sir.
John Watson. Of course. If Holmes here is involved in something, you're never too far away.
Forgive me, sir. I suppose since we've been best friends for so long, the force of habit.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Forgive Watson, sir. It's my fault. I was the one who spoke first. I just wanted to do what was right, though.
Well, we can very easily settle this. Let me just check the answer.
Professor Duval begins to jot the math equation down on a slip of paper in his hand. He soon pauses, then looks up at Holmes, then at the paper, then at Holmes again.
724, sir?
724. Mr. Holmes. Well, thank you for all that. Engaging class. Remember, the Christmas ball is tonight, so dress nicely and behave yourselves. Holmes, come here, boy.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Holmes, I've been pondering for a long while about you, boy, and I've come to one conclusion. You're an extremely bright, well-versed, educated young man. And I feel that someday you will make a fine teacher, a fine anything for that matter. I'm almost certain that no matter what you decide to do in life, you will be the best at it because you apply yourself and you do the best possible job at it. However, on the other side of the coin, you also annoy the very dickens out of me with your backtalk, your know-it-all attitude, and your sometimes disrespect for authority. So, if you were to work on one thing, just one thing, over this Christmas break, it would be to show me some respect, for goodness sake.
Of course, sir. I promise.
Very well, then. Off you go, my lad. Holmes, just remember, you've got a special gift laying up there. All you need to do is apply it correctly, and the world is yours. Otherwise, you'll just be a smart aleck with no purpose.
Duly noted, sir.
With that, he walks off stage as Duval slowly shakes his head.
Bloody hell. That boy could probably teach this class if he wanted to. If he wasn't so frustratingly annoying in certain aspects, I might just let him.
Scene 2. After a scene change, lights fade up to a hallway setting, which is lit by candlelight, where several teachers and students are milling about. A statue is present in the middle of a stage, that of what appears to be a scholar holding a scepter in one hand and a book in the other. Holmes appears on stage and walks across it, soon to be met by Watson.
There you are, Sherlock. Gosh, Devil Duval kept you so long. I thought it was the end of you.
Nonsense, John. It was just a discussion. Man to man is all.
He let you have it, didn't he?
And then some.
Well, the string will pass, Sherlock. For now, let's concentrate on the Christmas ball tonight. Have you a suit picked out?
But of course.
Suddenly, as the two boys stop by the statue, a third boy, holding a ruler in his hand and looking authoritative, comes before them and strikes a policeman-like pose. This boy is Jerry Lestrade, better known to Holmes's readers as Inspector Lestrade as an adult.
Hold it. State your business.
We have no business, Lestrade. Just passing through.
You're patrolling the halls more than usual, Lestrade. Any reason why?
See that statue there?
Of course. It's the statue of Jonas Merriweather. He founded the school, did he not?
There, in his left hand. It's a new addition to the statue.
Huh? Look at that. It's a scepter.
Made out of gold and with a whole lot of jewels covering it too.
It certainly looks nice.
And Dean Merlin, he instructed me to guard it. As the prefect, I took that duty without hesitation, and I take my job very seriously. So go on. Shoot. Shoo away. We don't want this statue to have any harm come to it.
Never fear, Jerry. As long as you're around, I'm sure that'll be the case.
He certainly takes his duties seriously, Sherlock?
Very much so. It's almost as if he's grooming himself to be a policeman.
I suppose every boy has a dream, eh?
Sure. And do you want to know what I'm dreaming of right now?
What's that, Holmes?
The sugar cakes at the ball tonight. Miss Decker, the cook, makes the most divine ones.
Oh, Sherlock, you ought to be careful. If you eat too many of those, you'll be dreaming of something else besides sugar plums dancing in your head.
Oh? And what's that?
Stomach aches.
Scene 3. As some festive instrumental Christmas music plays, the lights come back on up to a stage set up for a Christmas ball. Several students, boys and girls, are filing in, all pantomiming conversations with one another. Soon, Dean Merlin comes shuffling onto the stage with his secretary. The dean approaches a podium by the back of the stage, then begins to speak.
Good evening to you, children. And now then, before our Christmas ball begins, I have a few words I'd like to say. Oh dear. Where did I put my speech? I swear I had it here a moment ago.
Dean Merlin?
Oh, gracious me. I should have my head examined. I know I came here with my speech. What on earth could it be?
Sir, your speech is...
No, I don't want any help. I need to find it myself. Well, crisis averted. Ahem. And now then, children, remember this is not just a time about receiving gifts, but also of giving of yourselves. Whether it be friendship or time for studies and charity, Christmas might come only once a year, but you should always be mindful of such good deeds the whole year through. Now then, have a splendid time at the ball tonight.
General applause. Dean Merlin waves with a big grin and is led off stage as Watson and Holmes come walking on side by side.
God, Sherlock, they certainly went all out in decorating the banquet hall for this year's Christmas ball.
Indeed they did, Watson. Though it appears to me it was a rush job, done at the last minute. I don't blame them, though. What with our final tests for this year being delayed until just a short time ago?
A rush job, Sherlock? What makes you say that?
Well, it's quite simple, really. A mere cursory glance shows that several of the decorations are hung at odd angles, none of them match one another, or are in any sort of straight line, not to mention that there's a different colored tinsel hanging from there, and there.
Sometimes, Sherlock, I forget just how much attention you detail to possess.
More students arrive, their voices heard off stage. Two girls, Grace and Amaryllis, come on stage, whispering with one another and looking around with excitement.
Tell me, Watson, what's your wish for this upcoming New Year?
Me? Well, I of course am excited to see my parents back home. I'm looking forward to Christmas Eve there. One of these days you ought to visit me around the holidays. My mother cooks the finest Christmas goose you've ever tasted. We sing carols, we go outside to watch the snow fall, when there is some. My father tells a lot of wonderful ghost stories at night. And what about you, Sherlock? What's your wish for the upcoming New Year?
Slowly, the two girls that came in on the other side of the stage spot Holmes and Watson, and the spotlight shines on one Grace. She is dressed in a green gown with matching gloves. Holmes's eyes meet hers, and she smiles sweetly and waves to him, then looks away shyly. Holmes is awed. He obviously knows this girl from what we can see.
Why tell you when I can show you, my friend?
Huh? You mean Grace Duval?
The very same.
My word! But Sherlock, she's...
The most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Well, yes, she is very pretty, you're right. But don't forget, she's Professor Duval's daughter. And I think we know how he feels about you at the moment.
Watson, in life, I find one thing to be very true. You miss 100% of the chances that you never take. Excuse me a moment.
With that, he walks away from Watson and over to Grace and Amaryllis. Slowly, he taps Grace on the shoulder and she turns to face him.
Hello, Sherlock. Merry Christmas.
Hello, Grace and Amaryllis. A Merry Christmas to you as well.
Amaryllis giggles and walks off to Watson, where she steals glances at Lestrade while miming talk with Watson. Grace and Holmes are now standing together in shy silence.
You look very lovely tonight, Grace. And your dress is beautiful too.
This old thing? Oh, it's just something I found at the last minute.
Well, it looks great. But then again, anything you wear looks beautiful on you.
Aren't you the sweetest thing? You know, you're looking very handsome yourself tonight, Sherlock.
Oh, well, gosh, I don't know about that.
Sherlock, you're blushing.
Am I?
You are. Oh, come on. You don't need to be shy around me. Come on, Sherlock. Dance with me.
I would, but alas, I don't really know how to dance very well.
It's fine if we can't do it well, as long as it's you dancing with me. Please? For me?
For you, yes.
He bows to her as she smiles and curtsies. Soon, they begin to waltz with one another. Meanwhile, two new boys come walking into the room, both with an air of menace to them. One of them is James Moriarty. The other is Jarvis, his lad. The two push their way past several kids, then slowly zero in on Watson. Jarvis sidles up next to Watson and flicks his nose as Moriarty stands off to the side of the two. Jarvis leers at Amaryllis.
Hey! What did you do that for?
Because you ruined my waist, Squirt. Hi, Armadillo.
That's Amaryllis.
I was nowhere near you. Jarvis, can't you just leave me alone for one day?
Gosh, let me think about that.
He smirks and flicks Watson's nose again.
Nope, I guess not.
He cackles and gives Amaryllis an awkwardly playful punch on the arm.
I don't want to have to cause a scene, but I'll defend myself and the lady if I must.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Ahem. Come now, Watson, I really don't appreciate you speaking to my friend that way. He was only kidding you.
Yeah, only kidding.
Look, Moriarty, just leave me alone, won't you? I came here to have fun, not be one of your victims.
That's all well and good. But you see, Watson, dear boy, this kind of thing is how Jarvis and I like to have fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. Right, Armadillo?
It's Amaryllis, you Neanderthal.
Moriarty and Jarvis sandwich Watson in the middle of them and push him back and forth, cackling as they do. Meanwhile, Holmes, still waltzing with Grace, spots what's happening, stops waltzing, and frowns.
Sherlock, why did you stop?
Would you pardon me a moment, Grace? Hey!
Well, look who it is. The know-it-all Sherlock Holmes. Come to save your dear friend, have you?
Moriarty, don't you have anything better to do than menace people for no reason?
If it upsets you all that much, not at all.
If you're going to target someone, target me. Leave John alone.
He looks to Jarvis.
And leave Amaryllis alone.
Is that a challenge?
It is.
Well, I'm certainly going to enjoy this night even more now.
Yeah, me too.
That's enough, James. Leave all of them alone.
Moriarty pauses, then his eyes fall on Grace. He immediately pushes Holmes aside and, dripping with charm, speaks to her.
Why, Grace, I wasn't aware you were here. You're looking very lovely tonight.
I was trying to make sure you didn't see me for a reason.
Oh, come now, Grace. Is that any way to speak to me? You'd think your father would teach you better manners.
I reserve manners for those who deserve them, and you two certainly don't fit the bill with your behavior.
Humph. So you're siding with them, are you? How is it that someone so beautiful can also be so dumb? Typical girl, wouldn't you say, Jarvis?
Ha, yeah, typical.
Don't speak to her like that. She's a lady, and she's to be treated as such.
I wasn't talking to you, was I? I was talking to her. Come now, milady, forget about these fools and dance with me, won't you?
I'd rather sit on a cactus.
Amaryllis giggles and Jarvis can't help but cackle at this. Moriarty shoots him a dirty look.
Shut up! As for you, I'll teach you to show the proper respect.
He goes to grab Grace's arm, but Holmes, quick as a flash, smacks his arm away, then palm strikes Moriarty in the chest, sending him backwards. Jarvis tries to jump in for defense, but Holmes chops Jarvis in the shoulder, sending him scurrying as well. By now, everyone in attendance has stopped dancing and talking and are watching the unfolding events.
Fight!
Hey, it's a
Come
fight!
on.
Fight! Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
Fight!
You're not going to get away with this. You worm.
All right, that's enough of that.
Slowly, Professor Duvall steps onto the stage and up to the kids on stage. Jarvis and Moriarty try to straighten out their clothes as much as possible.
Father, thank goodness you're here.
What is all this blasted commotion? What are you hooligans up to, huh?
It was them, sir.
That's a lie.
Yeah, we didn't do anything.
Everyone here saw you try and manhandle Grace.
That's right.
Did you two creatures try and lay hands on my daughter?
Of course not. Sir, we didn't lay one finger on her.
Yes, he did. I saw it too, sir.
If Sherlock over there hadn't stopped us, we would have, though.
Moriarty elbows him hard in the gut.
Ooh. Oh, I wasn't supposed to admit that, was I? Oops.
I think it's time you two ruffians went back to your rooms. Now! And you will be brought to the dean's office in the morning to speak about this. Understood? Understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Huh. Get going. As for you, Master Holmes, you defended my daughter's honor, did you? Well, while I may not appreciate your candor in the classroom, my boy, this action will certainly not go unnoticed. Carry on, lad. Carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Duval hugs his daughter and he walks off as Jarvis scurries away. Moriarty goes to leave, but he first steps up to Holmes and points a finger at him.
Words cannot describe how much I despise you, Holmes. This isn't the end of this.
He goes off.
Sherlock, that was absolutely amazing. You really showed those two what for. Where did you learn fighting moves like that?
My brother Mycroft, of course. It always pays off to have an older brother who's experienced in grappling and fighting, I always say.
Chloe, I certainly hope you teach me those techniques sometime.
Of course I will, friend. Of course I will.
Watson, sensing that Holmes wants to talk to Grace alone, backs up a few steps.
I'm going to see what Lestrade thought of that fight. Come on, Amaryllis. We'll be back soon.
Off they go.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. You were so brave back there, Sherlock. Not only standing up for John against those two, but for standing up for me, too. Saving me from that brute trying to hurt me like he did.
Well, what's right is right. Those two can target me if they want, but I'll be damned if I let them target my best friend and someone I care about. Like you.
You really feel that way?
Of course.
Well, would you like to hear something that I'm sure you already know? I really care about you, too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. I've liked you for a long time now, and tonight only proves what a kind, brave, sweet boy you are.
Well, thank you, Grace. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Here, consider this my thank you for what you've done tonight. I think you really deserve it.
She smiles and leans in slowly for a kiss. Holmes also leans in, but just as their lips are inches apart, suddenly the lights on the stage abruptly turn off. Some screams of fright are heard, as well as general pandemonium.
What happened to the lights?
What's going on?
Where's everyone?
Where's the lights?
I can't see a thing.
I can't see anything.
Oh, Jerry, save me.
All right, everyone, don't panic. As the prefect, I'm here to maintain order. Everyone form a line and walk with me this way. Ow. Okay, quick safety tip. Don't walk this way. There's a rather big wall blocking the way. Just stay put.
Grace, are you nearby? Where are you?
Sherlock?
John, I can hear you, but where are you?
Hang on. I'll come to you. Stay where you are, like Lestrade said.
All right, just follow my voice. I'm right here. Watson, is that you? Did you find me?
Yes, Sherlock. That's my ear you're grabbing.
Sorry.
Sherlock, what on earth happened? 1 second, everyone was dancing and talking. Next minute, the lights went out.
It's a good question, John, but one we should come back to once we know everyone's okay.
Hey, who turned out the lights around here?
Oh, brother. What are you doing back here?
Calm down, Pipsqueak. We were both in our room, then suddenly the lights doused out. We weren't sure what was going on, so we felt our way down the hall and came here. Safety in numbers, after all.
Never mind, you two. Have any of you heard Grace's voice? I think we got separated in all the confusion. I hope she's okay.
Children, please be calm. We'll have the lights on in just a moment. Everyone, stay still. Don't wander off.
Hello? Where's everyone?
Grace, is that you?
Father, where are you? I'm frightened. I can't see anything.
Stay calm, my love. Just follow my voice. I'm reaching my hands out for you. There you are. It's okay, my dear. The lights will be back on any moment now.
I certainly hope so. Oh, Father, it's all so scary and confusing. So many people kept bumping into me. I wasn't sure what to do.
Soon, the lights on stage finally come back on, electric, not candlelight, and the students and teachers all mutter with relief. Amaryllis is happily clinging to Lestrade, who is looking at her like she's out of her mind. He gently extricates himself from her grasp. She looks disappointed.
Ah, there we are. Is everyone here all right?
Grace, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm so sorry. I got so frightened and disoriented. I wasn't sure where anyone was.
Never mind that, as long as you're okay.
Watson, meanwhile, moves away from Jarvis.
Yeesh! Your hands are like icicles. You're not that much reptile, are you?
One more crack like that and I'll pound you, Watson. Aw, you disappointed me, Armadillo.
It's Amaryllis.
Lestrade looks surprised that he said that, and Amaryllis is happy.
It does seem a little strange. It's warm throughout the whole building, and yet here you are, with cold hands.
Strange that the lights would all suddenly go out. It must have been a freak occurrence. I'm sure things are fine now.
Ah!
You were saying, sir?
Dean Merlin rushes in, all in a panic. He babbles incoherently as he rushes about. Professor Duvall gets him to calm down.
Dean Merlin! Dean Merlin, what on earth is the matter? Sir, please, calm yourself. Take a deep breath and tell me what's wrong.
Gone. It's gone.
What's gone?
The scepter. The scepter from the statue of our school's founder. It's gone. Gone, I tell you.
General gasps and murmurs of disbelief all around.
Sir, are you sure about this? Perhaps you just looked at the statue from the wrong angle.
Wrong angle, nothing. It's gone. Someone's pinched it.
All right, everyone. No one move. As the prefect, I place you all in custody until we find the culprit. Right?
Your enthusiasm is noted, Mr. Lestrade. But leave this to the adults for now, my boy.
Who on earth could have done such a thing, Sherlock?
Your guess is as good as mine, friend. Anyone could have done it. The lights were out long enough for anyone to go out into the hall without suspicion.
Hey, what's that you got there?
Excuse me?
Right there, tucked into the ruffle on your dress.
What are you talking about?
Right there.
He grabs at her dress once, then twice.
Get away from my dress, you little pig!
Just a minute now. Jarvis is right. I see something there too.
He pushes Jarvis aside, then grabs at and pulls out a gold rod-shaped object from the fold of her dress.
Hello. What's this?
The scepter.
No!
So that's what I saw. It was you. You took it.
What? I have no idea how that even got there.
Oh, come now. Do you expect us to believe you didn't know you had something like that hidden in your dress?
I wasn't even out in the hallway. I was stumbling about in here when this all happened.
Ha, a likely story.
Well, there's only one thing left to do. Miss Duval, I place you under arrest.
What?
Wait just a minute now.
Sir, you can't possibly think I did this. I would never.
Miss Duval, how could you?
Father, please get them all to believe me. You know I would never do something like this. Father, please. No, not you too. I'm innocent.
Grace, I'm your father. You know I'll always be by your side. But unless you can prove your whereabouts from the last few minutes.
Father, please, you must believe me. I'm not a thief.
I agree. Grace was standing with me just as the lights doused out. We were at the furthest point from the doors that lead out into the hall. I highly doubt she could make her way to the statue, take the scepter, and come back here so quickly.
How am I not surprised?
And just what do you mean by that?
Well, of course you're siding with her. You're blinded by your infatuation with her. Tsk, tsk. Poor love, struck fool that you are.
Simple common sense. I agree with Sherlock. How on earth could Grace have moved so quickly in the dark?
Bah! The evidence is right here. Dean Merlin, I, for one, am shocked at this. Simply shocked.
Why'd you do it, huh, Grace?
She didn't.
No, I did not.
I think I might know why. Isn't it true, Professor, that you were recently passed up for your position of Vice Dean of our school?
Not that it's any concern of yours, but yes, I was.
Well, the way I see it, it was an act of revenge. You were upset that your father didn't get this position, so you decided to discredit our beloved statue by taking the scepter. Perhaps you were looking to find a way to sell it for some money for your family.
What a greedy girl she is.
You can say that again.
What a greedy girl she is.
Moriarty elbows him in the gut.
Ow! Well, you told me to say it again.
Father, these are all lies. I'm innocent. Oh, why won't you believe me? Why won't you make them all believe me?
I'm sorry, my dear. Truly I am. But once you can show me proof, you know I'll believe it in a heartbeat.
Oh, Father.
He breaks off and runs off stage crying.
She didn't do it. Moriarty, you know she didn't.
Merlin stamps on Moriarty's foot and runs off after Grace.
He's escaping! Quick, after her before she steals more!
He follows the girls off.
Lestrade, get back here! I'll go after her to calm her down. Then we can get to the bottom of this.
Please do.
With that, everyone exits off stage in different directions until only Holmes and Watson are left alone.
Well, this really is a pickle, Sherlock. A big pickle. Unless there's something we're missing here. Poor Grace.
Oh, John, not you too.
Believe me, I don't think she did it. But there doesn't seem to be anything so far to suggest she didn't.
Well, I don't think for even a moment it was her.
Well, what can be done, Sherlock? How can we figure out who the culprit was?
Elementary, Watson. We simply open our eyes and look at the facts closely. And already, I can tell something is amiss that wasn't before.
What is it, Sherlock? What do you see?
Look, the windows up there. They're wide open.
Golly, you're right, they are!
And those windows weren't open all night. I suspect that they're open to get drafts of wind to come out and douse out the lights, at least in this room, since only candles were lit tonight.
I never thought of that.
And look, John, you can tell that they're open from the outside. Someone was outside on the grounds, went up to those windows, and opened them.
That's amazing, Holmes. How can you tell?
Look. Finger smudges on the outside of the glass.
My goodness, you're right. There they are, plain as day. I never would have noticed such a thing.
Well, now we know that the lights going out wasn't an accident. It appears someone meant for these lights to go out.
Yes, but who?
Well, I intend to find out. Come, John, let's do a bit more looking around.
Lights out. Scene 4. Lights up. Holmes and Watson enter the hallway later that night. The scepter is still not with the statue.
Well, there it is.
Indeed. Come on, John. Let's take a closer look.
Are you sure about this, Sherlock? What if someone sees us?
It will only take a few moments. And besides, for Grace, I don't care if we get caught. I just want to prove she's innocent.
You really are head over heels for her, huh?
I do believe I am, John.
Well, what are we waiting for then?
That's the spirit. Come on, give me a boost.
Watson helps boost Holmes up to take a look at the statue's hand at a closer angle.
Do you see anything, Sherlock?
Aha!
What are you aha-ing about, Sherlock? Did you spot another clue?
I believe I did. The hand on this statue, where the scepter was, it's got smudges on it, all dirt and grease.
So?
So, recall the windows that we saw had dirt and smudges on them as well.
Yes, that's right.
It appears as whoever our culprit was not only opened the windows, but then took the scepter.
But what about Grace?
Simple, John. Remember, she was wearing gloves the whole night. There's no way she could have left finger smudges on the window. These prints are of someone whose hands were exposed to an element of grime.
But what about the scepter being hidden in her dress?
My guess is the culprit knew there was a possibility they were going to be caught, so they planted it on Grace to throw everyone off.
Now the question, who could this culprit be?
Ah!
Gary, is that you?
Don't try any sweet talking or funny business, Watson. I caught you and Holmes red-handed.
What are you talking about?
You're obviously trying to contaminate the crime scene somehow. Maybe Moriarty was right. You're clouded by love for Grace Duval, so you're covering up her tracks.
Don't be ridiculous, Lestrade.
Jerry, we're simply trying to figure out what really is going on here. And so far, we've found a few clues. It might not lead us to the culprit right now, but it is a good first step.
I don't know about this. You two are acting quite suspicious, if you ask me.
Jerry, listen. You're the prefect here, yes?
And I'm proud of it.
And you know that some people here don't quite take you seriously, yes?
They don't?
I'm afraid not. But listen, perhaps if you help John and I with this situation, it'll go a long way to making people accept you in a position of authority. In law enforcement, you have to know when to accept help, or so my older brother Mycroft tells me, and he's in law enforcement.
Isn't that all you've ever wanted?
Well, of course it is.
Then help us out, won't you?
You can count on me, Holmes.
Excellent.
Well, we found 2 clues so far. What do we do now, Sherlock?
I'd like to speak to someone about this situation. I think it could shed a bit more light on the situation. Lestrade, if you'll come with John and me, I think we'll have more numbers. It'll work out better for us.
Lead the way, Holmes.
Lights out. Scene 5. Lights up. We are in the dormitory room of Jarvis and Moriarty. Holmes, Lestrade, and Watson are standing before Jarvis, while Moriarty stands off to the side.
Ugh, why are you 3 squirts bothering me again?
We'd just like to ask you a few more questions. That's all.
I already told everyone what I know.
Well, refresh my memory.
Yeah, tell them everything you remember about the event.
A pause. Jarvis balls his hand into a fist and glares at Lestrade, who shrinks back.
If that's okay with you.
If your runts must know, me and James were sitting in this room, playing cards, when suddenly the lights went out. We thought maybe someone was robbing the school, and we sure as heck didn't want to be around to see who it was. So we made our way back to the Christmas party in the main ballroom. Isn't that right, James?
It is.
Sounds like it makes sense.
It could, but perhaps you can answer this question. The lights were only out in the ballroom and the hallway. Your dorm isn't connected to either of those rooms. How did the lights go out, too?
You really are a nosy little know-it-all, aren't you?
I'm merely asking Jarvis a question. He's allowed to answer for himself, isn't he?
You answer, James. These squirts are making me mad.
Come now, Jarvis. It's a simple question. How did your lights go out? Or did they go out at all?
Jarvis grabs Holmes by the collar and frowns.
I'm gonna slug you in about 2 seconds, you little.
Jarvis, please. Don't waste your time on these losers. Holmes, even if you had to admit that the evidence against Grace is quite damning, the scepter was right in her dress, and we can't count for her whereabouts when the lights went out.
I think you'll find, James, that I'd rather look at all the facts before I make up my mind.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. He's blinded by his little puppy dog crush on her. Pathetic.
But you've shown interest in her too, haven't you?
True, but I'm not a fool. I don't let infatuation cloud my judgment. She had the scepter on her. For heaven's sake, it's open and shut, if you ask me.
Jarvis has let go of Holmes's collar, leaving a noticeable dirt stain on it.
I suppose that's your right to think that.
Blech. Jarvis, don't you ever wash your hands?
What are you getting at, you little busybody?
You stained Sherlock's shirt. Look for yourself.
Huh. Strange. Why are your hands so dirty, Jarvis?
It was helping me move my desk around. It was dusty from lack of cleaning. Does that answer your question?
For now, yes. We shall return, though.
Please make it a point not to. I insist.
He pushes the three boys out of the room.
Well, we just stumbled upon another clue, it seems.
Right, Jarvis' hands, right?
Ugh. Who knows how many germs those two ruffians have circulating in their rooms? It's enough to make you sick.
I think we're on the right track, gentlemen. Come on, let's see if we can spot any more clues.
I think I may have something to contribute, Sherlock.
By all means, John. Share it.
Yeah, don't withhold evidence from us. It is an arrestable offense.
Right. Do you remember at the ball when I noticed how cold Jarvis' hands were?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Could that possibly mean he might have been outside at some point? December after all.
Ah, an excellent point, John. I think it's another clue.
Holmes, do you suppose Jarvis might have been the one to open those windows?
It's entirely possible. Though with Moriarty to vouch for him, it'll be tough to prove.
Moriarty is a tough egg to crack, though. He seems to have an answer for everything.
I can already see that, Jerry, but we've come this far already. There's no sense in turning back. Hello? What's this?
I think Sherlock spotted something we couldn't see. Again.
How does he do it?
I ask myself that a lot.
Take a look at this, boys. There's a ledge up there, with the windowsill.
Huh? I guess I never noticed it. I was always just focused on my walking to class every day.
Where do you suppose it leads?
Why ask when we can all see? Come on.
Are you sure about this, Holmes?
You're not afraid of climbing, are you, Lestrade?
Of course not. It's the falling I'm afraid of.
Blackout. Lights on in Moriarty and Jarvis's room. The two are pantomiming a conversation when suddenly, from a side entrance, Holmes crawls his way into the room, followed by Watson, then Lestrade.
What the?
So the window led to a footpath that leads over here.
You three again? I thought I told you squirts to get out of our room.
Calm yourself, James. We're merely exploring something we hadn't noticed before.
Well, if you don't get out of here, we're going to merely beat the suffering out of you.
Okay, we're going. Sheesh.
Not just yet. James, I had a few more questions to ask you, if you don't mind.
I said get out.
James, how is it exactly you knew about Professor Duvall not getting the promotion to Vice Dean recently?
Not that it's your business, but I overheard him talking about it during my time volunteering to clean up Dean Merlin's office.
Ah, yes. Wasn't that the Stalwart program at the Merriweather Academy had in place for a time?
Yes, it was. Is that all for your questions?
Almost. Tell me, James, one more time. Why were you moving furniture around here again?
I already told you. Jarvis and I thought we saw a few mice in here, so we were checking it out.
Uh-huh. And before the lights went out here tonight, you were doing what again?
Oh, for heaven's sake, I already told you. We were playing jacks. Jacks. Is that so hard to understand?
Of course not. Will you excuse us, please?
He slowly ushers himself, Lestrade, and Watson out. Lights out. Scene 6. Lights up. The hallway, where the three boys are entering.
This just gets more and more bizarre as the hours pass, doesn't it?
I'm gonna say that again. Sherlock, why do you make of all of this? Sherlock?
Gentlemen, I believe I might have an idea on what's really going on here.
You do?
Indeed.
Sherlock! Sherlock!
That sounds like Grace.
It is. Grace, where have you been?
Oh, my father. He had me stay in my room until everything calmed down and we could discuss it more. But I was just so upset. I was pacing the room. I couldn't bear to be alone with all this going on, so I snuck out.
Well, don't worry about a thing, Grace. I feel as if I've got an idea on what's really going on here.
You do?
Yes. Come on, everyone. Let's go find Professor Duvall and Dean. Then I can explain everything.
I'll catch up to you in a moment. I just need to clear my head before I face my father and Dean Merlin again.
I'll stay with her.
Of course. And don't worry, Grace. All of us know you're innocent, and I intend to prove it.
Thank you, Sherlock.
The three boys head off as Grace watches Sherlock go with a smile. She sighs for a moment, trying to clear her head.
Don't clear your name, Grace. If anyone can do it, they can.
Well, hello there, Grace.
Ah, it's you.
Oh, come now. Why such a sad face, You're much more beautiful when you smile, you know.
You have some nerve speaking to her right now, after what you've accused her of doing.
Silence!
Amaryllis yelps and hides behind Grace. Moriarty sighs, dripping with false sincerity.
Alas, Grace, I humbly apologize to you. Perhaps I was a bit hasty in my accusing you. I mean, none of us are perfect, myself included. Perhaps we can work something out here, Grace. We're both mature people, don't you think?
What on earth makes you think I want to work out anything with the likes of you?
Hear me out, won't you? I'll make a deal with you, and if you say yes to it, I'll drop my accusation towards you. In fact, I'll make sure the entire student body knows that I made a mistake in accusing you. Then we can all work together to find out who stole the scepter from the statue.
And what do I have to do in return, pray tell?
Be mine, of course. Come now, think about it. I can offer you the world. My parents are both very rich and powerful people in England. Perhaps over a date we can spark some sort of flame? So what do you say, my dear? Yes or no?
Grace doesn't answer. Amaryllis shakes her head no. Moriarty continues.
Come now, Grace. I'm offering you the biggest out of your life. You'll be in the clear if I take back my accusation, and it'll save you and your father from massive embarrassment. Come on, say yes, won't you?
You want an answer? How's this for an answer?
With that, Grace slaps Moriarty across the face. Moriarty grabs at his cheek and stumbles back a step, but he is soon recovered and frowning. Amaryllis is frightened.
You disgusting pig! You brute! I wouldn't want to be yours if the fate of the world depended on it. I'd rather be accused of something I didn't ever do than be associated with the likes of you.
Very well, then. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, my girl. I hope you enjoy being an even bigger accusation from me about you and the scepter.
With that, he heads off stage as Grace watches him go. Then she and Amaryllis hurry off the opposite way. Scene 7. Lights up. Sherlock, Watson, Lestrade, Professor Duval, and Dean Merlin are in the main dean's office. Holmes is in the middle of speaking as the scene begins.
So you see, sirs, I think I might have figured out what's really going on here with this whole situation.
Well, my boy, by all means, go on. It's nearly morning. Hard to believe we've been at this for almost the whole night.
Well, you see, sir.
Father!
Grace, I told you to wait in your room until you were summoned.
No, but Father, you don't understand. James Moriarty, he...
Professor, Dean Merlin, a word, please. I've just gotten confirmation that Grace is the one who...
Moriarty, Jarvis, for once, I'm glad to see you both. I was hoping you'd show up, and now you have. I can offer some clarity into what I think really happened here.
Never mind this fool. Professor, I just got a full confession from Grace, and I can prove it.
Are lying. He tried to blackmail me into being his girlfriend. He said he would drop his accusation if I were to become his.
He did. I was there.
You fiend.
My goodness, such intrigue for children so young, wouldn't you say, Duval?
Enough of this. I've already heard one accusation launched against my daughter. I refuse to listen to another one. Now then, Master Holmes, you were here first, so you have the floor. But make it quick and to the point, boy.
I'll only need a few moments, sir. Now, then, let's go over the facts, shall we? At the ball tonight, the lights suddenly went out in the ballroom and the hallway. There was confusion and people rushing about. In said confusion, the scepter was stolen off the statue in the main hall.
By Grace Duval.
Now, as we no doubt saw, there's quite a lot of room for error on the culprit's part. Eventually, with so many people scrutinizing and looking for the scepter, the culprit knew he would be caught. So, fiend that he is, he planted the scepter on Grace's person to make it look like she had done the crime.
Yes, that's all well and good, Master Holmes. But how? And why? We still don't know those answers yet.
Allow me to elaborate, sir. Now, recall, we all thought it were rather strange that the lights all suddenly went out until I discovered that the windows in the ballroom were all forced open. Someone was looking to get gusts of wind to blow out the lights. Furthermore, not only did we discover smudges on the windowsill, indicating that someone was outside the building, opening them, we also saw the very same smudges on the statue. which leads me to you, Jarvis.
Huh? Why me?
As Lestrade correctly pointed out, your hands were quite dirty when we spoke to you tonight. Grace, if you recall, wore gloves to the party.
That's right. I remember her talking at length about those silly things.
And remember, as John pointed out, Jarvis's hands were freezing to the touch when he and James arrived on the scene during the blackout, almost as if he had been outside while this was going on.
That's pure nonsense. I told you we were playing cards when the lights went out.
I thought it was jacks you were playing. You've changed your story, James.
I clearly said jacks both times.
And, as I recall, first you said Jarvis's hands got dirty because you were moving furniture to clean your room. Then it was to check for mice. Which was it?
Well, it was, you see, you were making me nervous with all your nosy questions. He's insufferable, isn't he? With how he acts so high and mighty.
This isn't about him. It's about you, boy. Now hush up. Continue, Holmes.
Oh, and James, one last thing. As I recall, you told me about the Stalwart program, where you were cleaning this very office and overheard the conversation Professor Duvall had about his failed promotion.
Yes. I told you about it. What of it?
I just find it quite interesting considering our school doesn't and never did have a Stalwart program. I hate to lie to anyone, but I had to take a chance at that moment, and seeing that you confirmed you were in something that didn't even exist only fueled my suspicions.
Moriarty, you spy on my personal conversations, do you?
What? No, of course not. I just...
Would you like me to take a guess on what I think really happened here? I deduced that Jarvis was the one who took the scepter, and when he panicked about being caught, he hid it in Grace's person.
And did Moriarty have anything to do with it?
Certainly not. Jarvis, I am shocked.
You might have not taken it directly, no. Though at the very least, you were lying about what was going on here tonight, and may have been orchestrating things behind the scenes. Grace, didn't you say several figures were bumping into you during the blackout?
Yes, I remember.
No doubt Jarvis or Moriarty used that as cover to plant the scepter on you.
These are very serious accusations, boy. Not to mention ones that make logical sense, given what Holmes here has deduced. What have you to say about this?
Yes, James, what do you have to say? Can you offer any rebuttals or prove me wrong? If so, please tell us. I am always one to admit when I am mistaken.
A long, drawn-out pause. Moriarty seems to be racking his brain for some kind of way out. He soon looks at Holmes with absolute hatred in his eyes.
I could kill you for this, you snooping weasel!
Gasps all around as Moriarty lunges at Holmes, who backs away. Professor Duvall holds Moriarty at bay.
You couldn't just leave things alone, could you? Ah, why do you always have to swoop in like some white knight when I try and do things around here? Okay, you want the truth? Fine. Jarvis and I did take the scepter. We took it to frame Grace. I did it to get back at her. Why do you like that fool more than me? I have everything in life you could possibly want. He has nothing. Why?
I think you've answered your own question with what you did to me tonight.
Indeed, you did, Moriarty. You and Jarvis are in a mountain of trouble, boy. I shall make sure you two are expelled from this academy. You're lucky no charges are pressed against you.
But that isn't fair. He made me do it. Sir, honest.
Leave it, Jarvis. If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
Lestrade, come here, boy. Put that prefect position of yours to good use. Hold these two here with Dean Merlin, while we contact their parents.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I've been waiting my whole life to do this. You both are coming with me. Sherlock, it was a pleasure working with you.
He salutes and hauls Jarvis out of the room as Moriarty struggles to be let out by Dean Merlin.
This isn't over, not by a long shot. You've ruined me, you little screed. I'll never forget this. I hate you. I hate your guts, Holmes. Someday I'll get my revenge on you. You'll see. You'll see.
He is gone, along with Dean Merlin.
Jerry Lestrade is so brave.
Father!
Oh, my dear, sweet angel, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you from the start. I knew that Moriarty wasn't a good egg, and this only proves it. Oh, my dear, can you ever forgive an old fool like me?
Of course, Father.
And as for you, Holmes, my boy, Grace and I both owe you a thanks. You are one of the only people who believed in her from the start. Not only that, but you and Watson here both used your heads to solve this little crisis. See, this is what I meant by using your gift of intelligence correctly. You certainly showed it tonight. Watson, Holmes, I'm proud of you for figuring this out without causing any trouble. Believe you me, this will not go unnoticed. I'll make sure you're both properly honored for this when we come back from our break in the new year.
And for Lestrade too, right?
Yes, for Lestrade too.
You mean it, sir?
I do. Now then, why don't we all try and get a little bit of sleep before we have to start making our way to our homes for the break?
I don't think I can sleep a wink after all of this. It was so exciting.
I agree.
Goodness, you might be right. It's nearly dawn. Well, I'm going to my chambers to finalize my packing. Grace, join me when you can, won't you?
Of course, Father.
Duvall nods and heads off as Watson, again seeing that Grace and Holmes want to be alone, speaks.
I forgot to pack a few things. I shall return. Come, Amaryllis.
The two leave as well. Grace and Holmes, linking hands, walk over to the other side of the stage. Soon, the two of them are alone, and Grace hugs Holmes.
Oh, Sherlock, you were amazing. Thank you.
Anytime, Grace, but I can't take all the credit. John did a lot of the help, and so did you.
Oh, but you were the one who finally coaxed those slip-ups from James that proved that he and Jarvis were the culprits. Oh, Sherlock, is there anything you can't do?
Gee, I don't know about that. I'm certainly not perfect.
You are to me.
And you are to me too.
I'll never forget that you were the only one who believed that I was innocent from the start. Just the way you defended me, even when everyone else said not to. You're so wonderful, Sherlock. I'll always remember that you did this for me.
The two kids are now gazing into each other's eyes. There is silence for several moments. Then,
Well, here we are again.
Yes, here we are again.
So, what should we do now, Well, we only have a few moments before I need to leave with my father for the Christmas break.
Holmes doesn't answer. Slowly, he looks up at something that is hanging from above. It's a bit of mistletoe.
Oh, would you look at that?
What is it?
Mistletoe.
So there is.
I think tradition dictates that people standing under this have to do a certain something, don't they?
That they do. But do you want to know something?
What?
I don't need mistletoe to do what I'd like to do right now.
Slowly, Grace puts a hand to Holmes's cheek and she kisses him on the lips.
Goodbye, Sherlock, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Grace.
She giggles and runs off as Holmes stands stone still, a stunned look on his face, which soon turns into a wide, smitten grin. Watson comes up to Holmes.
Sherlock, we'd better get started on packing our suitcases. Our parents will be here soon. Sherlock. Holmes. Are you there, friend? Sherlock, what's gotten into you?
She kissed me.
Huh?
Grace. She kissed me, John.
She did. Just now. Oh, wow. That's great, Sherlock. What better way to end this whole crazy adventure? What was it like?
Picture all the most wonderful things that ever happened in your life and multiply it by a million.
That good?
Very much so.
Well, I'm happy for you, Sherlock. This seems like the absolute best Christmas present one can get, eh?
You can say that again. No amount of gifts can equal the girl of your dreams liking you as much as you like her.
Well, I can tell this feeling's going to carry over for quite a while, eh, chum?
No doubt about it.
I've got to tell you, Sherlock, you did some fine work with all of this. I still can't get over how amazed I am that you did it.
Come now, Watson. You and Graceland Lestrade helped out too. It wasn't all me.
But you came in when it counted the most. I really admire that about you, Sherlock. You know, I wonder, have you ever thought of becoming a detective of some sort when you're older? Maybe having a job solving cases that seem unsolvable?
You know, the thought never crossed my mind, to be honest. But it's certainly something to consider.
Two boys laugh and head off as the stage goes dark. The end.